Good Wednesday afternoon, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. This is a pretty accurate picture as to what you woke up to this morning and what you're going to see through at least this early afternoon. The live look, you can see the Corbridge building, raindrops coming down, but for the most part, it's a lighter rain than what we woke up to. 72 degrees right now at Bush Intercontinental Airport. Still raining there. If you did have a flight today, check if there are any delays. It's still going to be impacting us. The rain will be for the next few hours. That's why today is in red. It's a weather impact alert until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Notice today's rain chance 70% and it drops off for your Thursday and your Friday. We will just see about a 30% chance for some lingering showers, mainly for the afternoon, so you don't have to worry about your commute to work tomorrow. 24-hour rainfall totals look like this. If you live in Roman Forest, you accumulated about an inch of rain, and in Atascocita so far about half an inch of rain. Eastgate's at an inch, Klein an inch, Jersey Village closer to an inch and a half, so is Tomball. There have definitely been some pockets of heavier downpours. Wallace about an inch, but just southeast of there, this bright red spot saw some considerable rain. I'll give you a closer look at that in a second. East Bernard to Eagle Lake, about half an inch of rain. So here's our neighborhood weather network. So this is a network of rain gauges in people's houses. So these are no longer estimates. These are exact rain accumulations. So for Papagato Drive, you'll notice is about 2 inches of rainfall there. North Point Grove, an inch and a half. Taking you further south. The further south you go, by the way, much less rainfall accumulation there. So you'll notice for the Cinco Ranch area, about half an inch to an inch of rainfall for most locations. And then there was a bullseye spot for Fort Bend County. So this is going to be west of Richmond. You'll notice Weston Drive got about 3 inches of rainfall, and Orchard, I think you got closer to 4 inches. Taking you to Richmond though, Lone Stirrup Drive, only about a quarter of an inch of rain. So a big variation between the amount of rainfall totals, and that's because we had a big spread of rainfall intensity. So what you're looking at here now is live radar. The light green to moderate green colors would signal about half an inch of rainfall coming down for the hour. Those yellows and oranges would signal closer to an inch, and then those bright red spots, those are the bullseye areas that see 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall. Of course, if that cell stays over the same spot for an hour. But that's why we see the variation in the rainfall. Giving you a zoomed in look at the loop and the Beltway, we're seeing a pocket of heavy rainfall right now working its way from Westheimer to Memorial. Pretty soon it's going to be impacting the Heights too. Downtown seeing some moderate rainfall as well. But a big chunk of the heavy downpours now have pushed east. So you'll notice the east side of the Beltway seeing some pockets of heavy rain from Pasadena now working their way into Channelview. These are lifting to the northeast. So eventually they will push out of southeast Texas. But for now, Mont Belvieu seeing some pockets of heavy rain. Liberty seeing some heavy rain as well. Over to Winnie. That's kind of the quadrant right now that's seeing some heavy rain and a couple of flashes of lightning too. Here's the count over the last 10 minutes. There's been about 80 lightning strikes. And here's the difference between positive and negative strikes in case you're curious. Look at that. The number keeps trickling down, which is good news. Positive strikes come from the top of the thunderstorm cell, so they have a much longer distance to travel, and with that have a ton more intensity. They're actually 10 times stronger than negative strikes that come from the base of the thunderstorm cell. So think the top versus the base. The ones that are negative are a lot closer to the ground, so they don't have that much intensity. The ones from the top are stronger. So we like to see the count favor the negative strikes. It means that this cluster of thunderstorms is starting to weaken. Right now, Mont Belvieu, like I said, seeing some heavier rain. So here's kind of the difference. The areas that are in yellow have a rainfall rate of about 0.4 per hour. The red about an inch per hour, closer to that. And then the oranges are at about half an inch per hour. So that's the breakdown there. We're under a weather impact alert until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What does that mean? It just means you should try and limit your travel between now and then. You should also check radar. You're doing a good job right now by checking this live stream just to get your bearings as to what you can expect for the remainder of the day. I'm going to let you know that by this afternoon, things look a lot better. We are going to stay a little bit less warm than where we've been the last couple of days, and that's because the rainfall has cooled down the atmosphere a little bit. So high temperatures for today in the low 80s. By 7 o'clock, we'll dip down into the upper 70s. So 79 degrees at 7. Future track radar looks like this. So here's a good depiction as to what's happening right now. Showers pushing towards the east. We could still see a couple of isolated thunderstorms this afternoon, but I think it's going to be the exception, not the rule. So you'll notice here's the pocket that we could see maybe a couple thunderstorms in Cypress, maybe a few in Dyersdale. Don't look at this for the exact location of these thunderstorms, but more as a general picture of what they'll look like. So you'll notice the coverage is much less than what we're seeing this morning. So we're getting the majority of the energy out of the way right now. But you could still run into a few quick downpours, which is why take your umbrella with you this afternoon and through your evening plans tonight. If you have late night plans, I think you should be looking a lot better. In fact, we're going to see a little bit of some cloud clearing even by this evening. And then here's a snapshot of the rain potential over the next 5 days. So I'm dropping that rain chance to 30% tomorrow. You'll notice some of us are not going to see rain at all. So the spots that do see moisture, it's going to be far scaled back. So not the heavy downpours that we're seeing today, maybe some light to moderate showers, that's it. And then notice we still see a little bit of green on the map for your weekend, and that is not rain. That will be the lingering moisture that's in the air. So humidity will definitely stay pretty humid throughout the weekend and into next week, and that's because the storms that are passing through here right now are not from a cold front. They were from a disturbance that came from out west, actually from a dry line that fueled out this outflow boundary that kicked up the storm. So because of that, we don't have any cool air streaming in from the north like we typically would see with a cold front. Instead, we're just going to stay pretty warm and pretty humid. Dew points in the 60s, getting close to the 70s for tomorrow means it is going to feel sticky outside and it'll feel warmer than it actually is. What will actual air temperatures look like for the next 3 days? 86 degrees for tomorrow, warming it up even more for your Friday, 88 degrees, and then Saturday again, 88, dropping off that rain chance. So let's talk about those scattered storms for tomorrow and for Friday. I think they'll mainly be impacting us in the afternoon. So that's a snapshot right at lunchtime. So you'll notice some shower activity just north of us. So Grimes County, Walker County, a couple pockets here and there possible for the loop in the Beltway. But for the most part, I'm tracking quite a bit of sunshine. It breaks in the cloud cover for your Thursday and for your Friday. That's a snapshot at 2:30 Friday afternoon. So maybe a little line develops of storms. This would be for perhaps the Woodlands into Conroe, San Jacinto counties. And then beyond that, mostly rain-free. So we're getting rid of this widespread shower potential after today. Tonight's forecast, pretty similar to what we've seen the last few mornings. So warm, mild, humid start to the day. Find your neighborhood here. Do you live in Galena Park? You're going to wake up to 74 degrees tomorrow morning. If you're in Montrose, Brookhaven, your morning starting temperature is 73 degrees. That is pretty warm to start the day. 73 for Jersey Village and for downtown. Tomball's overnight temperature only dips down to 71. 71 is the morning low again in Conroe. And then Huntsville makes it to 70 degrees. Walking you through the 7-day forecast. The bright red means we're under a weather impact alert, but it's only through 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Beyond that, the rest of your Wednesday, it looks a lot better. Thursday and Friday, there's still a chance for storms, but now they're far more isolated. So there'll just be pockets of a quick rain shower, a quick storm, but otherwise, you'll see plenty of sunshine tomorrow. I think there's going to be good clearing, and most of us are going to stay rain-free. Friday, it's a similar story, a little bit warmer. At this point, we're in the upper 80s. Temperatures for this time of year should be in the low 80s. 81 degrees is average for this time of year. So we're definitely trending on the warmer side. And then you'll notice for your plans this weekend, for your plans starting off next week, Monday into Tuesday, things look a lot better. We still have the warmth, we still have the humidity, but we are not tracking rain. Take advantage of that, because by Wednesday of next week, I do see an unsettled pattern coming back into the forecast. One more time, if you're just joining us, where is the rain right now? Most of it is pushing east. I'm going to give you a close look at the loop right now. Oh yeah, things are starting to quiet down there. There was a cell with some heavy downpours moving from Beller to the Galleria. That's starting to fizzle out. A few more showers lifting in though behind that. So Siena to Fresno, this could make its way closer to the Beltway and closer to the loop. Already starting to do that in Alameda. So watch for a few more downpours from now until 2 o'clock. That is when we have our weather impact alert time frame. So it's just a time we highlight for you to be extra vigilant and try not to have too many plans. So limit travel, that's what we advise you to do. Otherwise, you'll notice the large chunk of moisture. So the big batch of rain that passed through this morning is making its way out of here. It is lifting to the north and northeast. So this chunk is not going to affect us any longer. There is a little bit of back building here. So these storms are going to have to pass through us before we can be officially in the clear. But until then, watch radar from now until 2 o'clock. So just east of Sugar Land, pushing into 288. Alvin's starting to see some rain. League City is too. We are going to have a loop of radar on all afternoon. So watch it along with us. You'll notice there's another cluster there in Liverpool starting to develop. If we see any of these storms gain any intensity, we'll be sure to send an alert straight to your phone. Have a happy Wednesday and stay weather aware.